Damian Priest is opening up about a very interesting situation that no one previously knew about, so we'll see what's up there. We'll also check out what's going on with Liv Morgan, some returns, and more. Starting things off with Liv Morgan and what she's been up to in both the ring and on social media. Liv Morgan will have a big tag team match going on at Bash in Berlin when she teams up with Dominic Mysterio to take on Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. But Liv Morgan had a whole entire different situation going on over at Twitter with Zelina Vega. And this isn't the first time that they got into it online. Their first exchange of online jabs came back in June. That was when Zelina made some light-hearted jokes about how she could never be the one grabbing onto Dominic's mullet like Liv was doing. But things escalated to the next level when Liv Morgan fired back and tweeted at Zelina that she let Rhea Ripley embarrass her in her home country while her flag was draped on her back, and how Liv could never let that happen to herself. And judging by the like count on those tweets, it looks like the people declared Liv Morgan the winner of that first exchange. Zelina came with a slight jab and Liv Morgan just went for the full knockout right away there in that first exchange. But fast forward over 2 months later, and these two are back at it again with some more tweets being exchanged. Of course, this is all lighthearted jokes, and they're probably just exchanging these words to build up hype for future matches. But playing around or not, this new round of exchange words all started when Zelina quoted Liv Morgan's segment from the August 12th edition of Raw. During this segment, after the crowd was chanting "sloppy seconds" at Liv Morgan responded with a line about how she'll easily take Dominic's sloppy seconds. Zelina tried catching Liv Morgan on a technicality by saying that in the context of that sentence, wouldn't that mean that Liv wants Rhea Ripley? And similar to that first round back in June, Liv just comes for the knockout right away. Liv told Zelina that she shouldn't be talking at all since Zelina's at home making her own vignettes instead of being on television. Zelina responded by saying that Liv's comeback was decent because she had time to think about it and come up with it. Zelina also said that Liv Morgan shakes in her boots when you give her a live microphone. Liv fired back by mentioning how she gets a mic every week, how she's the champion, and how she's the whole show. Liv said that Zelina couldn't relate to any of that, but that maybe if the people in the actual arena cared about what Zelina does, instead of just Twitter trends, maybe things would be different for Zelina too. And that was the end of round 2. Now, who won the exchange of words is obviously up to your own opinion, but if you're judging by likes, Liv Morgan blew Zelina Vega out of the water on every single one of those posts. So again, no one believes there's actual tension here, but both superstars are definitely walking the line there with some playful yet slightly personal jabs. And it's highly possible that this interaction does lead to a future matchup. Right before SummerSlam, Zelina Vega did mention in a backstage interview that she was coming for whoever walked out of SummerSlam as Women's World Champion. We now know that the woman who walked out as champion was Liv Morgan, and how they're having this exchange of words on Twitter, it does seem like some nice foundation to build that next Liv and Zelina match. Liv and Zelina did meet a few weeks back, and it appeared that Zelina did actually have Liv Morgan beat for the title until Dominic got involved and swung things back in Liv's favor. So even though it's not the same thing as pinning the champion, Zelina was still right there and pretty much had the 3 count and more on Liv Morgan. And Liv might be right about some of the things that she was saying about Zelina Vega. Zelina doesn't get that much time on the mic on Raw, and she's been doing some home vignettes. But Zelina does have a pretty active narrative going on at the moment on Raw. It seems like they're building up this never back down sort of underdog narrative for Zelina Vega. Her opponents have injured her arms in recent weeks, but she still comes out with her arm taped up to fight and have matches. So it looks like they're definitely trying to build up that underdog character and narrative for her and make that connection with the crowd. The underdog narrative is a highly successful story method that fans just absolutely adore and eat up because it's so relatable. It's been done in movies before, like with Rocky. We've seen it inside a WWE ring with individuals such as Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn, and so on. So it's a proven method and tactic to build up connection with fans, and it looks like that's the approach they're taking with Zelina. It seems highly likely that Zelina Vega will get another shot at the title, especially given this recent Twitter exchange. We'll just have to see if Zelina will be able to do the unthinkable and dethrone Liv Morgan. That'll be hard to do at the moment since Liv does have Dominic and the entire Judgment Day by her side. So talk about an underdog narrative. That would really stack the odds against Zelina Vega. Damian Priest recently spoke with Sports Illustrated and gave an inside look at what was going on behind the scenes with Edge's removal of the Judgment Day. This moment just happened the other day back in 2022. Edge had just turned heel and was forming his new faction. He brought in Damian Priest, then brought in Rhea Ripley. But barely just a few days after bringing in Rhea Ripley and forming the trio, the group then turned on Edge and kicked him out. It was a real gut punch to the fans at the time because it felt like we didn't even get to see the Judgment Day with Edge as the leader, since he was kicked out literally immediately after putting things together. Well, in this new interview, Damian Priest noted that obviously it wasn't their decision to make. He said that he himself was upset, Edge was upset, and Rhea Ripley was even more devastated than they were. Damian also said that he remembers Edge telling him about the direction to kick him out, and how Edge said they started all this for nothing. Similar to what the fans were thinking at the time, Damian said he felt like the Judgment Day would just fall apart after Edge's removal, and how he even fully accepted to be released and fired from WWE after the group fully collapsed after that. But to everyone's surprise, the Judgment Day not only stayed floating after Edge's removal, but they would go on to become one of the most successful factions of all time. And instead of getting released from the company, Damian Priest went on to become World Heavyweight Champion. So things took a real turn for the better there for Damian Priest and the entire Judgment Day. But it's just interesting to hear about how all three original members were bummed out by the decision to kick Edge out in 2022. And in WWE return-related news, Kelly recently spoke with Wrestling News Co., and she spoke about how she's been watching a lot of recent women's matches and how she's been loving what she's been watching. Kelly said that Triple H was a pleasure to work with during her brief cameo returns at recent Royal Rumbles, but how she actually has a desire to return to the WWE ring. Kelly was obviously a big star in WWE back in the late 2000s and early 2010s. She was brought into the company at a young age, accomplished big things such as winning the women's title, and retired before she was 30. So now at 37 years old, Kelly's got the desire to get back in the ring. She did say that a full-time return would be off the table since she recently had twins, but she feels like a part-time return to the company would work really well. So it appears that if WWE really wants to bring back Kelly and give her a schedule that works for her, she'd be extremely down for it. We'll have to be on the lookout for that potential return. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.